Thank you, Professor Zhang. So now I open the floor for questions. Questions, I think Professor Zhang can take in English and Chinese too, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
I can speak a little bit Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Mai Hua. I'm from the Department of Applied Social Sciences. Thank you for your enlightening talk and especially emphasize on the innovative culture and academic freedom, the autonomy of your university. I think Hong Kong University is going the other way around. We are discouraging tenure track. We are going for contract staff. Majority of the staff are going for contracts. So I wish to ask you about what kind of benefits you have with the tenure system and in the promotion of innovation and the development of advanced technology and teaching as well.
Thank you very much. That's a really very good question. With one of my graduate students, I personally did a study in last 2 years for tenure track system. Basically, I compared the tenure system of different countries. When you study the development strategy, development trajectory of U.S. since 1860 to now, you will realize actually the development trajectory of United States can be divided into two parts. First part is from 1860 to about 1940, to the end of the Second World War. In that period, the trajectory of U.S. is almost identical with the rest of countries. So for that period, I mean, the development or growth rate is only depend on the size of the country and also how hard of the people. But since 1940 to now, the U.S. development mode was greatly changed. In this period, the development trajectory of U.S. can be pictured as 5 steps. So in about 1950, there is a step driven by the航空. Help me.
Aerospace.
Yeah, aerospace. Technology revolution. And then maybe in 1960 to 1970, there is a second step, which is driven by electronics. And then in 1980, there is another step driven by information. And then new drugs, and nowadays is clouding and other things. And when you look in detail of those 5 steps, actually all of those 5 steps are related to the university. And why this only happening in United States, not other universities, or not other countries? And then I looked, I mean, there are political systems and also there are sort of other systems. I noticed that there is one difference. Because the tenure system of United States was taken from British system. But the British system is really a permanent sort of appointment system. When you become a lecturer, you will be permanent. Whereas only in US, they pay very strong attention on the track period. Because before the tenure, the young people will have 6 to 8 years track. During that track, actually, the young talents will form a new habit to do the research. I think that's the difference. Because that system actually is very different from the rest of the European system. I think that's one of the key reasons why US has so different performance. So that's the decision, or I mean, that's the reason we made the decision. Shanghai University will go through the tenure track system, although it is difficult. Because in Chinese universities, I mean, you know, some of the university already failed to implement the tenure system. But in Shanghai University, we made the preparation in last 8 years, and we did some pilot programs. And from this year, we are sort of doing tenure track system for all university. We hope we can be successful. Thank you.
By the way, Professor Zhang, at the City University of Hong Kong, we do have a rigorous tenure system, and we started with a contract that is tracking in your language.
Yeah.
We do have rigorous
I know.
tenure system.
I learned from Wei.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, Shuli.
I'm very pleased to see Xun Li. He's one of my close friends. So I envy Wei took him.
Yeah, it's really great. A pleasure to see and very impressed to see the development, probably a transformation of Shanghai Jiaotong University in the last 10 years under when you came to the university. So it shows that university policy really matters. And I suspect a lot of it was made possible by the young staff, the talents you recruited from all over the world. At the same time, I couldn't help to think that some of the legacy staff or existing or old staff also contributed to the course. And I was wondering how you motivated them to go along with your policy to contribute to the university.
Yeah, that's very good question, again. Well, to motivate the young faculty actually is we can take the examples from US or from your university, but how to motivate the existing faculty to accept the tenure system is a really great challenge. So that's why we said our reform will started from 2010, will be hopefully finished by 2018. We will use 8 years to finish the merge of 2 tracks. So nowadays, after 4 years, although we met some serious challenges, but seems now we already passed the most critical period. So maybe in 2012, that year is our major challenging period. So by that time, a lot of sort of existing faculty are challenging with this policy. And now, I mean, they accepted after, I mean, a lot of discussions of common, well, that becomes their sort of common goal. That's, I mean, I really like this university because they, after the discussion, they can accept this sort of future trend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm working. In fact, we don't have tenure. We have substantiations. Every 3 years, you have to subject to the kind of assessment. And also, you only pay gratuities, no pensions. So it's not a tenure system. All right? Okay. I think we have to get the facts straight. Before you say that we have a tenure system.
We can debate about it.
Yeah.
And
but I just
what
tell you
we
the
are
facts.
having.
And the other point I want to raise is about the kind of management that university should make. I appreciate very much you talk about innovations and staff academic autonomy. It's very important for growth and development, especially in universities. But in CTU, sorry, we have to learn a lot from you because we are going to micromanage our staff. For outside practice, you have to make application to do so, even though you are not rewarding any money. You are doing services. You have to report to it, and you have to apply earlier. Otherwise, you'll be put into your file that your late application and you put in the file as a record, and you are giving warning. Such kind of micromanagement happening in City University of Hong Kong. It's no more that kind of innovation, respecting the academic staff, autonomy, and that kind of thing. So maybe Hong Kong has to look into China for their development and progress?
Well, I really want to quote one of the famous U.S. president words. So one of the U.S. president said, it is a more difficult job as a university president than United States president. Yes, university is such unique organization which provide the environment to embrace lots of different thoughts. So therefore, I mean, really, it is a very difficult job. So I also got quite many criticism from my own faculties and staffs. Well, after my answer is maybe after 10 years, after my retirement, I mean, the future will judge what I have done is correct or not. Well, I don't know whether I answered your question. Thank you.
I guess I can entertain one more question. Yeah, Sundong.
And also, I really would like to encourage one of the female colleagues to raise a question, because I really want to hear what you are thinking. Oh, sorry, you can. Well, not include you.
Linda. Okay, Linda.
Sorry, maybe I will say afterwards.
Well, I have to volunteer, right?
Sorry, I don't mean.
So then you can ask later. Well, I'm very interested in what you just told us about the transformation at Jiao Tong University, especially City University. Actually, at this moment, we're starting our initial discussion about our next strategic plan. So, two questions, if I may. Okay, first is that actually I like you to elaborate a little bit, to your earlier answer to the question, because you kind of mentioned that it seems to me that the key is actually a lot of discussion and engagement with your existing faculty, how to really to motivate them to join your efforts, right? So I think a little bit more elaboration would be very helpful. And secondly, one of the transformation you mentioned that you are seeking to achieve is actually transform the management mode from the driving mode from administrator-driven to academic-driven. Yeah. I think this is a very important thing then in Chinese universities. I like really to hear a bit about your progress and also your strategy in doing so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think maybe actually the better person to answer that question actually is Wei, because I almost learned everything from him, because we meet every year and we discuss about the management of a university. So for the first question, well, I don't know whether what we did is correct, but anyway, that's our practice. Each year, we have 2 meetings in vacation. So one is in summer, one is in winter, for all the leadership of university. So where we can discuss anything. And also, by that meeting, I will also introduce what we are going to do this year and also in the next 10 years. After the beginning of the term, there will be a more serious discussion for all schools about initiatives proposed during those 2 meetings. And then we will get feedback. And then we will have a more serious meeting. We called it, well, more or less a Congress meeting or sort of a council meeting for all sort of faculty members and also staff administration staff, where they will discuss whether what we proposed is correct, or they will give us feedback. And then I will report them what we are thinking after we see their feedback. So that's the normal practice already. So in the first few years, it was extremely difficult because the opinions raised through those channels is very, very diversified. So it is so diversified, we cannot really reach a common understanding. But after a few years of practice, and nowadays it seems my faculty members are used to that practice. So, for example, this year, we just, in August, we just finished our second we call it a think tank meeting, 务虚会. In 14th, actually it's the beginning of the term, I already received feedback well before the beginning of the term. So very positive feedback because they now think very positively towards the future trend of the university. But as I said, actually we did go through very difficult period in first 3 years. Sorry, I took too long for your first question. What is your second question? That's always the trouble.
Transformation from this administrators driven
to
academic group.
Yeah, that's another difficult question. In 2008, we realized because Shanghai University originally was originated from engineering school, so therefore we were strong at action by taking orders, but we were not very good at think and also at debating. So then in 2008, we started to think to reform our academic committee. So by that time, actually, it was quite funny. I asked our colleagues, I said, whether we have academic committee. They said, well, we should have. But I said, give me the list of the academic members. And then it took them about 2 weeks to find the list, the name list of academic committee. And then finally they gave me a list which was generated in 1996. So afterwards they never had any meeting. And then I asked the other 2 famous Chinese university presidents. I said, well, what is your case? So in one of the university presidents said, well, you don't take it serious because we are more or less exactly the same as you are. The other university president told me, well, G, I will tell you a secret because he is also a physicist. He said, well, I will tell you a secret. If you feel something which is hard to go through, you will give to the committee. Because anyway, their opinion will be different. And then you will take, one of the opinion as, their decision. So, and then we had a discussion in our university, and then we decided actually we really have to do the academic committee very seriously. So afterwards, we formed an academic committee. At the beginning, we thought the size of academic committee is only hopefully something like 40 members. But by that time, we find actually the faculty members are so enthusiastic. Everyone wants to be the member of academic committee. So at the last, the academic committee is so huge. It's about 150 members. And now we are in the second round. We think we have to, and then we divide this academic committee into disciplines, into 4 major disciplines. And this year, during our during our second 务虚会, we reached a common understanding. We need to also reform the academic committee to really give the power of decision for the academic committee. So that's what we have done. But still very preliminary. Hopefully, this practice will give some new, driving motivation for the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zhang. I think let us end our question and answer at this point of time. And let us give another round of applause to Professor Zhang for his excellent talk. So may I now invite Professor Wee Kwa to present Professor Zhang a souvenir.
You will teach me how to play the chess.
Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, thank you.